Gift in return. We need to take a moment here. No, I'm kidding. This is one of those techniques that Kenpo people loathe to talk about for a number of reasons. Why would we do it? Why does it look like something out of a really bad martial arts movie and so on? So there are several things about this. It's all depending on the starting point. Why am I sitting on a stool? Because one of the ways that this technique is described or potentially done is you might actually be sitting down in the starting situation. So again, you could be starting from here. It is against a handshake grab. So in this case, you could be getting rained down on or potentially rained down on. So with this handshake from here, my initial step could be very much driving off a chair to finish the rest of the technique. So again, potentially sitting on a stool, not just because I like to sit down. Now, doing this technique from standing, we have a different set of parameters to work with here as well, or similar set of parameters. It is a handshake technique, as we've already said. You're not going to overextend like we've talked about in our gift of destruction video. And this is, again, another version of something that could potentially be happening to us. If gift of destruction was taking it that we were potentially being hit by the other hand and we were taking a step forward over to obscure that other hand and prevent it while using our moves in this case, this one is potentially similar. We might be getting rained down on, we might be getting pulled in. If we're getting pulled in, we're going to assist with that pull in, or maybe we might want to start it a different way. So we're going to address that in two ways. The first way that we'll look at is, let's presume we're being pulled in and we decide to go with it. We might be getting pulled into a headbutt, to a punch, to whatever it might be. We're going to take the same step forward as we had with gift of destruction with our left leg, but we are going to step deeper on this one, and we're going to also go down slightly. So when we check, we're going to drive our hand in. This check is on top of his hand to make sure he doesn't move it. And we're going to assist and drive forward with this. From here then, giving myself some space, we are going to essentially step behind and reach for the person's hand on the other side. As we step behind, we're going to reach and we're going to lift. Now, there are people who will grab the hand, who will grab the fingers. I personally do not believe in my own ability to cope with sweat or any other liquids or, gooiness. So at that point, what I like to do is reach in and grab the wrist. It now gives you a fishtail at this point, where if you slide, you are sliding into the wrist bones, and it's much easier to handle as well. That's just a personal preference on that one, but there are those who will obviously grab the hand in the reverse handshake position. I prefer the wrist, as I said. I pull up from here. I hit a check in and down on the base of the spine, or kidney if you're able to reach there, but it is a little higher than there. So you're hitting on the back of the hip essentially here. The idea of that is, if someone is in this position, they could potentially kick back at you. Could, potentially. So the idea is, by checking on the hip, I sink the weight, and it now prevents the legs from being used in this case. So once we have that pull up, we have our palm strike in and down, inverted palm or outward palm. It's a choice again. I prefer the inverted palm. From here, then, we have essentially a blade to the outside leg, and we have a knee to the coccyx then at that stage. So once again, we have our drive, presuming we're being pulled forward. We have our step behind. I like to grab the wrist, as I said. We pull up and we palm strike. So we're lifting and then shunting their weight down onto their legs, preventing them from using their legs or stepping away or causing problems. From here, then, we have a blade to the outside leg, and we have a knee to the coccyx. Okay? Once we're done with that, we cross out and we leave. The other variation of this is someone grabs you, you decide to feed it to them. As opposed to going with their momentum, you're essentially going to push down and pull slightly towards yourself, which is stable, or taking them off that base. If we're presuming that the person is standing on a relatively neutral base, as we've said, we talked about the triangle concept before. Point in front, point behind, push to those points, balance is broken. Therefore, if the person is standing like so, I want to extend them to that point. So how do I do that? I assist and I pull. By doing that, the head comes forward, and now I send the hand the opposite direction and step deeper. Once I step round, everything else remains the same. So at that point, it really just depends. What's the reason the person is pulling you in? Or what is the person doing, or what are you doing at that point? Are you going because you need to? Or are you going because you want to? That is a choice in this one. But gift in return. Try it from sitting down, try it from numerous different positions. Everyone has a reason why this technique is done a certain way, but we all kind of have our tongue stuck behind our teeth when we talk about it sometimes.